to pull from, and he's consistently going back to the Ziggs, and Ziggs did not work out for him in that last game. Just the Mega Inferno Bombs were there, but they just were not enough. Coming in here to the map for game number 4 rather, picks and bans, and once again it's bans focused out towards the top laners for Starhorn Royal Club.
Oh, wow.
And they'll be the ones to ban out the Braum away from Dada, but a Lee Sin respect ban versus Insec.
That is actually something really big. We haven't seen a single Lee Sin ban from OMG, neither in this best of 5 series or in the previous one. So that is a big move.
But oh my gosh, no,
Fizz.
OMG didn't ban Fizz. They didn't ban Fizz versus Korn. Oh, this is horrible. We talked about the 100% ban rate for Fizz versus Korn in their previous best of 5, and it's been consistent here all the way up until game 4. But instead of going for the Fizz pick mid, Korn's not bold enough to just pick that into anything.
That's the same story as in the previous game. OMG, instead of going for the Braum that they needed for Data 7, they went for the Jax. And Fizz won't get picked up. Actually, both of the mid laners play Fizz really well. Both Cool and Korn. So it's not that Cool is really afraid of going up against Korn's Fizz. He also could be playing it on his own, but instead chooses to go for the Orianna.
Now, Orianna, once again, also has a very, very high win percentage. And in fact, it was 100% for Korn previously, and it's still holding true. So they have to take that champion away because they know it works. But they haven't seen his Fizz. It's getting locked in. Nobody's surprised to see the Fizz out here. But I think everybody will be a little bit surprised at what Korn can do with it. An incredible Fizz player. Deserves all the 100% bans that he gets for it, but now we get to see it versus another equally strong champion, Cool's Orianna.
Yep, and well, there's the Lee Sin band. And OMG, they choose to lock in the Lee, so probably Insec will go for the Jarvan, but I'm still willing to see this Rengar.
Yeah, possibility for a Rengar, but it is very, very fringe. Jarvan much more consistent for Insec, and he's been showing that. Okay, he hovered over Zero hovered over Shake over there for a second, and oh, it's an insta lock on the Vayne for UZI. He was thinking about something else, and he's like, "No, dog, let's lock in the Vayne." It's the champion he got a pentakill in a couple weeks ago, so
when
still
the
looking
Nocturne,
very good. And yeah, there it is, Nocturne, a very aggressive playmaking, like aggressive. I said that twice. We're not allowed to say aggression here in LPL, so we all know it's coming, and that's the champion that Insect's going to use to do it.
Oh, and Renekton, if it gets locked in, that's the first Renekton for quite a long time.
Oh, I do not agree with the Renekton at all for going. It does not have enough scaling, and it's not going to be able to bully Cola enough, especially if we wind up with a 2v1 to start off the game. So, hovering over the new... I don't know about that one.
It's gonna get changed.
Probably not. Yeah. Usually you'd play Irelia. Oh, it is a Malphite, and with another big tanky, hard engaged support for Dada 7, this big engage comp from OMG could actually pay off. They've got a ball delivery system. They've got a Leona that's a sort of this tanky initiator style of champion that Dada's shown to be a little bit more comfortable on. But this is a huge investment on a giant wombo combo team comp from OMG. And if they can't pull it off, Starhorn Royal Club are going to destroy them with huge power picks like Vayne for UZI and Fizz for Korn, a champion that he almost never gets to play.
And these are some champions that were out of the circuit for quite a long time. Leona, Malphite, and even this Vayne. We haven't seen these picks for such a long time, and now they come back into the game. I hope that OMG have some kind of a plan with this Malphite pick, because if not, Starhorn will just win the series and go up to face EDG.
Well, we'll get a chance to see what plans Starhorn Royal Club have, and whether or not this Malphite pick from OMG is going to pay off for going. We know Malphite is rock solid, but is it the solid pick that OMG need? We'll be coming back to you guys with our, could be our last game of the series, in just a minute. Stick around to the LPL in English on Twitch TV.
健康美丽喝小优，天屋蜂蜜柚子茶。
小黄帽
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The LPL playoffs. We're here in the finals of the lower bracket. One of these teams goes home with 3rd place this season, and the other, well, of course, they will survive. Putting out 4% armor and magic resistance penetration, so only going for 2 points in that that mastery instead of the traditional 3 that you're used to seeing. A little bit strange there for Korn, but he's doing that because he wants the hybrid stats, the extra attack damage and ability power for his Fizz. The mid lane versus Cool.
And going on this Malphite, that is an extremely interesting pick, but it's all gonna go down to the positioning, because if UZI gets out of position, he is gonna get punished. It is a Malphite, Leona, the Shockwave from Orianna, or a Cocoon from Elise. There's so much that OMG can do to completely shut down UZI, but we'll get to see if it works out. Of course, Korn is this slippery fish. He'll just run away from everything with the playful trickster.
So Korn as a Vayne, or UZI as a Vayne rather, got me on the Korn train. But UZI as a Vayne was just trying to 1v1 Sans Lucian. I don't think that's the way it works, UZI, and he does lose that trade pretty handily, and he'll go back to base. See if San actually decides to go back to base. If he doesn't, he might actually be at a small health differential, but it won't matter all that much. Just a little bit of early trading.
So it's the 2nd time Nocturne gets picked up by Insec in these playoffs. And he won with it against OMG once already. So, well, that's a great pick. No Rengar, but we get to see the Nocturne.
Well, to be fair, OMG won with Nocturne too, so not even just that Starhorn's strong with it, it's just a strong champion. And it really fits Insect's playstyle really well, because previously he'd go for something like Rengar, who would just stealth into the whatever lane he was going into over and over again. This time around, you don't have to be invisible, because you can still keep other people from seeing you with the paranoia. So, look at Go Going. He's still having some problems with Cola's top lane Jax. Of course, Jax the champion that Go Going would like to play, but was picked away from him.
Previously, we saw Nocturne combined with the Kassadin in the mid lane, which was a great thing. You could get 2 champions jumping on someone without even getting noticed. This time around, we don't have this kind of a follow-up for Insect. It's still going to be huge with his ultimates.
Look at these very complex trades from UZI. He's like tumbling like in and slightly sideways to dodge away from Dada in case he wants to go back in with a Zenith Blade. And he's actually able to trade this situation very effectively versus a Lucian, as opposed to what you'd expect, which is Lucian using the early double procs from his Lightslinger passive and just his lane bully mechanics to be able to really hurt Vayne, a champion who's very weak early on but scales much harder.
But it's an interesting pickup for OMG too, because San usually he focuses on farming up his champions like Tristana or Kog'Maw to then be effective in the late game, and this time around he goes for the early bullying with Lucian. That's a thing that we don't usually see coming out from him.
It's a very strong sustained start for both Go Going and Cool, and Cola rather. But yeah, like you said, look at Drug. He lands the Cocoon. There's no spell shield. It's coming out a little bit late. And Insect, he's gonna be forced to flash. The Fear Tether comes off, but it's not gonna be enough. Insect will go down in his own jungle. Drug. Sneaky Spider laying the trap. There's the exhaust down. The damage coming out. San gets condemned backwards, and that's the only thing that saves UZI's life. Well, the only thing, and Zero forced to desperately keep him alive there. The exhaust is... I don't like that. Dada was trying to keep the damage from coming back, but they were the ones being aggressive, so he'll use that summoner spell and won't get a kill off of it.
But it is a huge first blood for OMG right there in the jungle. Drug just refreshed his double buff, so he is gonna be double effective in this jungle, and Insec is gonna fall a little bit behind. He won't get his ultimate as quickly as possible.
But a good job by Insec. He realized that Elise had a repel, so he didn't flash there at the end. And that's kind of depressing to make that decision, but still a very smart one nonetheless. Cool will flash back to Drug. Drug once again there for the bodyguard duty. Insec, once again, he's got both of his summoners. Of course, one of them is Smite, so that's a little bit expectable. He'll be right back in that lane, but Drug's positioning and his just pressure out on the map has been so huge so far this game, and he's actually going to be counter jungling pretty much everything in the bottom half of Insect's jungle. Insec Also a very weak start. A perfect play by Zero. Turns around for the death sentence and he actually gets it onto San. Now the re-engage here from Dada7. He's actually 1v1ing Uzi in the back, but San gets ignited. And actually Zero could kill him off there. He's forced to flash away. San narrowly lives and there's the cocoon under turret. It's Drug coming in for another kill of his own. Zero grabs a death sentence onto Drug. Turret shot will land, but it's a 1-for-1 in the end.
No mana available for the play. That's what saved Drug's life, but there was such a close fight right there. However, it was not just the first blood in the jungle that Drag got. Actually, if you look all around the map, there is the farm advantage in favor of OMG, and it was 1,000 gold difference already.
I can't believe San lived there. He had everything going against him. Like, one minion auto attack would have taken him out there, but he'll stay alive, so good job there by Dada, going just aggressive enough to force UZI off of that, and ironically enough, both AD carries. Oh, Fish lands on to Cool. He's got Drug coming in from behind, though. Where's the cocoon? It's actually Ignites coming down from both carries. Will Cool stay alive? And he does! Just barely surviving the last sliver of HP. Some pretty lucky carries from OMG, just refusing to go down, and that time is a death for Korn, giving OMG their third kill of the game.
And Drug is just always there. He was in the bottom lane to defend San in Dada7. He was there in the middle lane 2 times when Korn and Insect wanted to go in. And Insect just comes to this lane to try and get something for himself, but no mana available once again.
And honestly, we were hyping up Korn's Fizz, but he has half of the CS that Cool has. He's 0-1 after dying to the gank off the all-in, and Cool's just farming out the lane. He's not trying to go aggressive, but he will as long as he has his jungler there, and Korn will pay the price for aggression of his own. So, Fizz pick, really looking to see some big things from Korn there in the mid lane, but Cool winning it out early.
Alright, so we have the early advantage in favor of OMG, and most probably they will be looking for a dragon quite soonish, but Insect hits the level 6. So we're looking for something to happen from him.
Of course, Cola and Going, probably the least exciting lane on the map. We hover over there because apparently it's important for a second, but both of them actually using their teleports to get back up there. Stuck in the top lane again. Pretty even trading across the board. A Glacial Shroud, the first item for Going, so hitting up a very, very early Frozen Heart.
2-1 advantage in the games in favor of Sahorn, though. There's a lot of pressure on OMG right now. If they lose this, they're out. And they have to win 2 games to come back into this series. They pulled it off once, but it definitely is a tough task.
It's true. OMG... reverse all kills are things that they're definitely capable of, and more importantly, things that Insect knows all too well. So he is going to do everything in his power, of course, the rest of his team as well, to keep that from happening again. The culling used in the bottom lane by San just to clear out the wave and put some extra pressure, but UZI and Zero are actually not having that bad a time. That being said, UZI is. He's down about 25 CS, and of course, 0-1. After the gank by Drug coming down there. Now, Korn rotating top lane, kills off the pink ward and escapes with his life, but with that pressure top lane, it's going to be up to Insect to try to either ult in and steal this dragon, or just give it away to OMG.
No, he chose to not go in at all. No, OMG just take it for free. So Starhorn, this time around it's them who have the late game scaling. They have Jax, they have Vayne, and it's UZI on Vayne, and who else knows better how to play this champion in the late game. So even though they lose a little bit in the early game, even though Korn got a little bit shut down on his Fizz, it's not that godly that we expected it to be. Still is going to be a great game.
Yeah, not over by any means. A little bit of an early lead for OMG, but look at where all the kills are. They're on Drug. So it's going to be up to him and his playmaking power from the jungle. Looks like he's going back in again. But the cocoon hits a minion, but I don't think it's going to matter. Cola goes down. Going almost dies, but once again, another incredibly successful gank by Drug. But unfortunately, he actually takes the kill again. And while Drug will actually be very, very strong, oh, cocoon over the wall gets absorbed there. No stun there on the Insect. Drug's really strong, but his lanes may be suffering a little bit.
Yeah, but once again, it is Insect trying to go in for the counter gank and cannot really pull it off. Cancels the Go-Going's recall right there. That's quite okay, but still, Insec. In this best of 5 series, he's just not on point.
Insect's actually going to cancel Go-Going's recall again, so he'll have to recall not only behind his turret, but most likely teleport back to lane because he's been so delayed, whereas he probably would have just walked up to lane there earlier. Cool and Drug now forcing Korn off of his turret. He can't even get near the CS that's dying to the minions, or the minions that are dying to the turret, rather. So, big vulnerability there. Bottom lane, though, we've got a huge lockdown on a 0 and UZI. Dada7 going in, but he gets condemned against the wall. He's actually going to go down there, and with another pushback there onto San. The final hour from UZI was actually Dada's final hour.
Go-Going just recalled to the base, so he was delayed by a lot by Insec right there.
And the teleport's actually going to go back to the top lane instead of trying to help out down bottom. He didn't have his ultimate, the Unstoppable Force, up for any sort of counterplay, so just returns back to lane.
We have a lot of kills on Drug, but on the other hand, there's UZI getting 1 kill, 1 assist, and as I said multiple times already, it is really scary to have all the kills and farm on UZI because he is the carry in his team.
We already knew that Drug's killed, but not quite in the same way that Drug has been doing them so far. And he really needs to be in these lanes that are under the high pressure situations, like top lane. He's turned that around and now going in the lead. Like mid lane, and really Cool's been just absolutely monstrous. He's doubling up Korn and CS still, but now it's a 50 CS advantage. And you know, CS advantage is like, oh, this guy's up 5 CS, 10 CS. That's a little bit more understandable, but 50 is devastating, and that means that Cool, he's going to hit every single item spike ahead of Korn, and Korn's potential at just blowing somebody up is going to be very highly limited.
Oh yeah, definitely, and going up against a Leona and Malphite, it's going to be even harder to pull anything off. And Drug on the invade right here.
Oh, Korn will be forced to Playful Trickster right there. He actually doesn't use it for mobility, but double flash away from the Malphite ult. Going. Taking names and summoner spells there. There'll be no flash for Korn, Insec, or Zero.
Finally, OMG finds the answer to what Starhorn was doing. The 2 previous games, they steal the blue buff away. They shut the mid laner down. As you said, Korn is so far behind in CS. Now Drug steals the blue buff. So Korn is going to fall even further behind. But Starhorn looking for an invade of their own, or maybe a little bit of positioning towards the dragon area.
I thought Insec actually flashed away, but I think he could have actually just used his Shroud of Darkness to spell shield it. I'm not sure, I'd have to watch that again. But it looked like he didn't get knocked up from it, so I'm guessing it was the spell shield, because his flash was down from earlier, so pretty sick reflexes, not only on that, but also the flash away, so we gotta give some credit where credit's due. Happened so fast. But Malphite ult, it's almost back up again, just requires like 20 more seconds until that's back online. And the return to top lane for Going, he's going to make it up there with a completed Frozen Heart, which is miles above any item that Cola wants to buy.
Oh yeah, Cola is just sitting at the Vamp Scepter at the moment. That's nowhere near where he wants to be. Finally he comes back to base and will be able to buy up, but still really far behind Going.
Insec waiting in the bottom lane for the gank. He's got Paranoia up, but just look at how far back San is playing. He doesn't have Dada7 there, and he's just using the culling at long range to stay as safe as possible, knowing how vulnerable he is to being ganked.
Oh yeah, no need to go deep in there, because San does not want to give any kills away to UZI. That's enough. 1 kill is definitely enough, and if he can get the farm from the culling, he'll just do it.
Still waiting to see the fruition of this triple dagger build on UZI. Of course, most likely it's Blade of the Ruined King and Berserker Greaves. It just looks kind of strange to just spam click the daggers and buy all 3 of them instead of completing an item instead. But we'll give him the most attack speed that he can get for that amount of gold, just spamming the daggers in there without completing an item. So we'll see if he can make this work versus San. Now San is overextended, but wait, what is... Okay, UZI was almost just straight up dead there as all of OMG came down, but he reveals himself from the bush, and I don't know why he is actually playing this out there. He'll win the 1v1, but OMG are going to take Dragon, so...
But Starhorn had no vision around the Dragon, so I don't think UZI really knew that everyone was sitting there.
Yeah, if OMG had just walked down bottom lane, that'd be a dead UZI. But even still, he was able to both stay alive, exert some pressure in the lane, and not be forced to recall back to base prematurely, so...
Oh, Data7 will look for some action.
Oh, and he's going to actually be the one with action looking at him. Pulled back into the team. He'll get Insect ulted right back on him. San does have a lot of damage left to come back, but looking cool. The teleport's coming down bottom lane for going as well. And will he be able to throw this one down with a nice unstoppable force? He hasn't used it just yet. Waiting for it. Insect, though, he's going to try to make it back through the turret. 1, 2, and the third turret attack will not be enough to kill him. Can he get the execute in time?
On the chase. Oh.
Yeah, Cool's gonna be here in time. Just needs one auto attack. The flash in. Oh, but he actually spell shields the command attack. Insect's gonna get the execute off. So some nice micro there. The flash used by Cool, but not enough to pick up the kill.
Yeah, and while OMG was doing the Dragon, Cola actually got the turret in the top lane. However, it still is not too much because OMG gets some kills in the fight. They get a turret of themselves that San will now bring down, and they get a Dragon. So Starhorn falling pretty far behind so early in the game.
That was a little bit uncharacteristic by Cool to overcommit so hard and not be able to pick up the kill. But you gotta give a little bit of credit to Insect, able to outplay that and still make it out alive with the execute. Pretty deep behind enemy lines. So Insect gets out. Cool's flash is now down, but oh, an engagement onto Corn. 0 there to keep him safe. But Corn's still in a lot of trouble. He's down 40 CS in that matchup. Finally has his Lichbane power spike, but he's still pretty far behind.
Yeah, and Insect is always on point with the spell shields, but yeah, that's the story of this guy. He always is on point on quickly clicking the keys right there. The Insect kicks, and he has to safeguard and kick immediately, and then come back again. Now with the spell shields, but it is not enough. It does not give them a real advantage. And OMG will take the turret in the top lane.
And it comes right after taking the turret bottom lane as well, so they're up 3-1 after all those outer turrets going down. OMG with some nice pressure, and really putting this pressure on a little bit ahead of schedule. This is what you'd expect to see from, like, 25-minute mark, the big 5v5 groupings around this top lane second tier turrets, but Starhorn, they are there in time to defend. Can they find the engage they're looking for?
Well, the kills are still there for Starhorn. It's not like they are really far behind in this one, but not an easy time defending the turrets, not an easy time fighting, and Horn even gets overpowered by Drug, who's 2 levels behind.
Now it's actually Drug that's going to zone out behind the turret, but really no big mystery there as OMG take it down. That is their 4th turret now of the game, and Corn just returns to the mid lane to farm things out. He's actually pretty far extended as OMG will come up behind him. I think they're more concerned about getting vision control of the Baron area than they are of making any picks mid.
Wow. OMG going for the stack in the Pixel Brush in 0. He will be there in just a second.
Oh, now poor 0, he's gonna death sentence to the Baron, but he gets CC locked down right in time. Dada with the crowd control. That'll be 1 dead support. Famous last words of a lot of supports I was just warding. Dada, or 0 rather, will meet his untimely demise.
And OMG will be pushing down this middle lane. I don't think that they wanted to go for this Baron. At 90 minutes in the game, it's not really a big possibility, but, well, taking an inner turret in the middle lane, no problem. We'll give them a little bit of gold, and still 4 to 5k gold difference. Actually, even more right now. It's 6,000 gold difference in favor of OMG.
OMG definitely in the driver's seat. Keep in mind, if they win this game, we go to a game number 5. And while that 5th game may not be blind pick, it was changed to kind of the last minute to mimic sort of the format of Worlds, which will not have any blind picks in it. So game number 5 will still be very crucial, as it will decide who gets in there to the finals. But going, and Dada7, they're down on the bottom lane onto Cola. A lot of damage going down. Solar Flare is even going to be used to try to lock Cola up, but might be able to leap strike around it. He's got the counter strike, trying for some damage back onto Dada7, but it's a 1v3. Cool's got the kill.
Yeah, Cool was there. That was the crucial thing for OMG, but there's Korn.
Shark's gonna go down on him. He's gonna get flipped down, and Korn finds the 1v1. San just a little bit too far out of position. Cocoon lands, but the lanterns right there to save his life.
Yeah, and finally Korn gets the assassination and gets the thing that he needed. A little bit of gold flowing into his pocket, and slowly but surely Starhorn will be getting a little bit of power with his Jax and Vayne ramping up towards the late game, with Korn finding some picks.
That positioning by San was really questionable, and Korn even got close enough to land the Chum in the Waters through the Relentless Pursuit backwards from San, so definitely gonna have to learn his distances there. And Korn still making that Fizz work, even though he's about 40 or 50 CS behind at any given time.
Yeah, and it's hard to keep up in CS against an Orianna or a Ziggs, so we can't really blame him too much for this one, but if he finds yet another kill, or maybe 2, it will already be a successful Fizz.
The culling used just to try to zone off here for the Dragon. We'll see who gets the smite, and it is Drug. Drug actually having an incredible game so far, but with all of his kills, with all of his ganking, he's actually sacrificed a lot of CS. He's actually down half of the CS of Insect, so Insect with a 50 CS lead there. That's pretty impressive, and while you may kind of expect that from Nocturne, just because he is such a fast jungle clearer, it's still going to be a big deal. Now, Going actually uses the Unstoppable Force, but to clear off the wave, save his turret. Now he actually might be able to find something out, but Cool gets Shark there. It's Chum the Waters right on top of the carry. Cole is going to come over the wall. There is the Cocoon, and a nice flash to dodge it out. Korn, can he get out of here alive? He's so mobile, and he escapes with his life. Nocturne ult just to kind of seal the deal as far as Vision's concerned, and keep the escape real for Starhorn Royal Club, but they come out with a kill onto Cool. And Korn's making that Fizz work.
Well, Korn threw out the Chum the Waters and all of his combo, but still didn't even bring down half of Cool's health, so not the biggest damage out here. But still, getting the kill is the most important thing. And slowly but surely, as I said, Starhorn coming back. This Jax is going to be a big pain in the neck to OMG. As you see, he split pushed the top lane turret, then split push the bottom lane turret, and once again going for the top, this time for the inner, and almost gets it.
Alright, well now it's coming down to the Baron. Of course, most games do, and is Dada7 trying to clear out vision control of that area. And if you look at OMG, the way that they've got their wards spread out isn't like super deep in the enemy jungle. It's just around where they want to be. They have 4 wards down around Dragon. We're able to take that, and now it's about 4 or 5 they're setting up for their first Baron. Now Dada, he's got the oracles, clearing things out, and OMG's setting up camp.
Yeah, but Starhorn might still want to look for a pick. If OMG go for a Baron right here, they're gonna lose a lot of health, and that opens up the space for a kill for Korn, possibly. Maybe for UZI.
Korn takes about half his health, and he's forced to flash away from the shockwave. So big cooldown down for Cool. But Korn, saving his life, blows the flash.
Alright, so OMG sitting in a little bit of a driver's seat, but still it's not like they're crushing Starhorn just yet. And UZI can come back from the deficits. Actually, the time he got a pentakill was not such a great game for them. They were doing quite evenly, and then he got this penta, so they won. So a comeback with a Vayne is definitely possible.
A little bit of a whiff there on the solar flare from Dada7. But look at that, the teleport in. Going's got the initiation onto 0. The culling taking him down at long range. And San will find 1 pick. Will they find a second? Dada looking to get in onto Insect. Can't get past the spell shield for any CC, and with Korn actually, or with Cola split pushing down bottom lane, this is a rough decision for OMG. They're choosing to go for the Baron, and this will be a big buff, but they'll lose one turret mid. They'll lose a turret bottom. That's a second tier turret, and Starhorn are actually going to go for a second tier turret mid. OMG might have just lost all of their outer turrets for just a Baron. Starhorn going all the way.
Oh, and Korn has the Lich Bane, so that's a lot of damage right there. Oh, I don't think they will be able to take this inhibitor turret, but still a lot of gold for them.
Chum the Water's finally missing its target there. Cool. Sidestepping it, and that'll be the end of the push for Starhorn Royal Club. Now, OMG do have Baron buff, and even though they may not have a whole lot more outer turrets after losing 3 of them to that Baron, they do have a very powerful buff as they come out here. And really, OMG, they've always been wanting to push these big advantages, but they really haven't been able to, thanks to, I guess, maybe a more cautious play. Want to go for, safe ward coverage, not overextending, and just taking down all of these objectives. But after all of that, they're now tied at 5-5, even with their 8,000 gold lead.
I'm wondering if they would get the inhibitor turret by getting the 5-man push in the bottom lane. Still, well, that's a gone thing, and Starhorn are glad with the gold that they got. They actually evened out the score in the turrets. It's 5-5.
That's actually the second time that OMG have made somewhat questionable rotational decisions. In game number 3, they pushed out the base, actually won a team fight, but then lost the game because of super minions. So that probably shouldn't ever happen. It's kind of hilarious when it does, but you still have to watch out for whether or not OMG are really making the right call. Drug coming around from behind. He gets that set insta, lands the cocoon onto Zero. The follow-up into the unstoppable force. There's Oriana's wombo combo, and Zero and Insect get blown apart. OMG, there's the wombo combo we were looking for. They'll take out 2 and a bottom lane turret.
Oh yeah, this time around it works out really great for them, and they will be going for the inhibitor turret. Most probably will be able to take it down. There's no one to stop them. Cola on the split push. Once again.
Cola grabs himself another second tier turret. This guy is just a turret killing machine. And off of that first inhibitor going down for OMG, they will be forced to get their way back to base, but they might be forced to engage here because I don't think Starhorn are going to let him recall. Oh, teleport out there. Cola able to escape, and he TP's back out of harm's way. He'll actually TP down onto the bottom lane. He's going to flash in. Does get the stun onto San. Relentless Pursuit's back up. He's going to turn on the culling, but one auto attack's all it takes, and Cola takes him down again. San, a little bit out of position. He'll go down. OMG, they lose the Baron buff, but Starhorn lose an inhibitor.
Yeah, Starhorn lose an inhibitor, but they got the second tier turret in the top lane, and Cola teleported back. He got a kill on San. They will most probably take the dragon right here. And it doesn't matter if Insect or Zero die when Cola is getting kills. It is a Jax. OMG shouldn't let that happen.
Another thing that OMG shouldn't have let happen is Korn with a 1 in the kills column. They shut that guy down so hard mid lane. Now he's down 60 CS, which is, I guess, a little bit more understandable versus like a farm-oriented champion like Oriana, who's also more team-fight-oriented. But for Fizz, for Korn, all he needs to be able to do is kill off the squishies. We saw what he did to San mid. Cool probably has enough magic resistance and, of course, the Zhonya's Hourglass to stay alive through a Fizz dive. But at the same time, if Korn, after being shut down so hard, can still just one-shot San, it's still going to be worth it.
Oh yeah, definitely, but still, there's the big CS advantage in favor of Cool, and he has a lot more gold compared to what Korn has. And there's the Zhonya's Hourglass coming in for Cool, so, well, Korn won't really be able to find a lot of targets that he can't annihilate right there. It's just San left.
War jump away there from Cola, just getting a little bit tickled there by San, but Cola on the run. Jax is not a good place. He does not have teleport up either. He's going to try to make his desperate escape out. Can he make it to the lantern? And he does. An excellent save there by Zero. I guess, it's not super exciting. It's like, oh, Thresh threw out a lantern and saved someone. But a little bit dire straits. If Cola had gotten picked off there, that would have been horrible for Starhorn. And OMG, especially with their buff, would have just pushed up mid.
Yeah, Cola is definitely a pillar that holds Starhorn in the game right now before they collapse, and if he dies, It's gonna be really bad for them. The push from OMG onto the middle lane. They don't have a lot of minions though. So it gets stopped by Starhorn.
So a big play here at the 30-minute mark. Things are definitely starting to sway. Wait, what? Was that
the base turret
Nexus
falls,
turret?
yes.
How is this happening? At first it's OMG that lose their base to Winions, and now it's actually Starhorn who are out of their base, like posturing at the inhibitor, and they're losing their Nexus turrets to super minions. Well, they're gonna lose another inhibitor, so some defense that was, and off of super minions now once again pushing in bottom lane. This could be OMG's ticket to game 5.
No, it's not looking too happily for Starhorn, but there comes the engage and the big fight starts.
Yeah, but an immediate dive to the back line there. Insect's gonna get to it, but he's forced to flash out as he almost goes down. But look at Sonic, gets blown apart as well. Now Dada7's gonna go down. Korn is just shredding everyone, and Cola's in there, but he's still alive there. Oh, look at the fish. He's flipping it on to Cool. Korn, he stays alive thanks to the dangerous game. And now Drug is the only one left alive. A lantern coming in, the flip in, and Drug's gonna go down. He's in the air, but he's going down. Korn, with an incredible performance, comes up with a quadra kill, and the ace versus OMG.
Yeah, he gets a quadra kill. They get an ace. They even out the score in kills, but still, no Baron available. They cannot push the inhibitor turrets, and they have to defend against the super minions. So it is the same thing that happened for OMG in the previous game. They got some kills. They got the inhibitor in the top, but the super minions are taking their base.
And we're gonna get a replay of this. Watch this. So Drug is a little bit too far forward, and this is the big dive from Insect that polarizes the fight. Insect dives into 4, and all of a sudden OMG is just like, what's going on? Going gets pulled to one direction, and look at Fizz. The Chum the Waters hits on a Dada, hits on, or Dada, rather, hits on to San, just blows them both apart, and now it's one kill after another. Going gets slammed into the wall, and then fails his flash back over it, so not quite where he wanted to position, and of course, it's just another kill for the fish. Korn taking down Drug. So a little bit of a, what are we calling these now? A turnaround for SHRC. They're only 1 kill behind now, 3 turrets behind. But still only down about 5k gold in at 32 minutes. That may not be a very big difference. OMG still looking for an engage opportunity. They are the hard engaged team. They're the ones with the wombo combos. They just have to make sure they can get them off.
Alright, so now it's not only about Cola and UZI getting towards the late game. Now finally Korn got something going for himself. Sitting at 5-1-1 drastically changes the picture of Starhorn. However, they still have their base down by a little bit.
Yeah, the base is the real issue right now for Starhorn. They may actually be, coming back, maybe actually win team fights against champions, but they have to win these fights against the minions that are continuing to push it onto the base. There are super minions on their last surviving Nexus turret right now, and they're not clearing them off. And that Nexus turret, sure, it will heal over time, but Nocturnal's coming up. They're going to dive right back in onto the back line. San is actually staying alive here. Korn can't get to San in time. He throws out Chum the Waters, but it misses there, and only barely kills him. But no, San! He's flashing away, and they still manage to assassinate San. Korn with the biggest flip is like the shockwave coming in, and it's gonna kill off Korn. But look at UZI, he's kiting, but he's 1v2. UZI, can he stay alive? Going's the one to chase him back to the base, but with super minions flipping into the base, we'll see if this is the game for OMG. It's a 1-for-3 exchange, and OMG, all they have to do is take down one Nexus turret, and they're on to game number 5. Can they do it?
Oh, they probably can if Insect gets caught.
There, he's gonna get chained out there. The exhaust comes down. Cocoon lands as well, and that is one dead Nocturne. And at long last, a little bit exciting there towards the end. It is gonna be a game number 4 win for OMG. That means we're going to game 5.
Oh wow, and Starhorn actually making it happen by a little bit towards the ending of the game. Having a Jax, Vayne, and Fizz is always scary. OMG just learned it, and maybe they will ban this Fizz again in the next game.
Well, congratulations to OMG, who will bring it back. We're going to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere, because when we come back, we're going to come back with game number 5, the deciding game in this lower bracket final. Starhorn facing off against OMG. It's the LPL broadcasts here in English on Twitch TV. We'll be right back.
队伍给我们带来一场近乎于完美的表现，
非常精彩，
非常好，这场打得非常漂亮。
前4场比赛可以说都是让我们看到了两边选手这种集尽一切可能拼比赛胜利的这样一面。
是的，确实是。这场比赛开始之前我就说了，我全身汗毛都起来了。但是我看完，我现在已经热血沸腾了。
对，是
非常
很漂亮，
有点期待最后一场比赛。
而且我们看的是优哉的第一视角，这边的话其实初期确实 OMG 战队滚雪球的能力非常强，而且这一把灵药太 carry 了。
是。
前期是拿到4个头的时候是
一定是刚才你在屋里说他，被他搁起来，
被他听到了吗？
王导刚才
是这样吗？
今天灵药边客观的，王导是今天灵药这个状态，感觉比你那个稍微差一点。
不是，他不是这么说，他是说。
关键我
打的确实比灵药要好。
我说的是稍微差一点，我说的是今天的表现来看的话，灵药感觉前一场的表现没有 insec 那么好，结果没有想到这一场直接就来了一场
carry，
绝对 carry， 绝对的 carry 这一把，
这个就叫带动全场，
真的是带动全场。其实每一波团战里面都有他一个精彩的表现，而且感觉今天的蜘蛛用的都特别的好。
是的，
对吧？
不管是
而且在 BP 的时候，他是先选的蜘蛛，insec 再选的打野位。
我们先来看一下这波精彩的回放。
是，
这个就是下路。
对，下路这里先把这边扑掉，看到 NOC 在后面进行一个蹲，然后拉到这边的达七 ，NOC 开启大招，这边达七是留大以后成功的闪现逃脱，只不过这个时候我们看一下中路的发条，非常的漂亮，
灵药也从后面超过来，这一波是 OMG 直接5人全部齐聚下路，
没错，
石头的传送比较的早啊，
对，贾克斯看一下值得取消传送，
然后这里很漂亮的一点还有 insec 的这里强行骗掉发条一个闪现，
对，这边是 insec 跑，我要去送塔，发条闪现过来。
还没闪现，
一个 Q 被自己的 W 技能直接挡掉，没有造成任何伤害。
这个盾挡得非常 nice。然后
这一波团为什么要给这一波呢？其实这场比赛里面完美的团战有很多，包括下路高地那一波团战，被小鱼人拿到4杀。
对，
但是那个兵线再加上当时没有大龙，这一波4杀并没有让他。
其实那一波真的是逆风以来从季后赛开始处理最好的一波
团
战，对，真的是这样。
他们放掉了中路的高地不说，而且还在那一波团战里面。几乎完美的表现，
对，是的，
而且后面的一波团战也是小鱼人过去切掉了这边的一个小伞，但是无奈啊，
随着几个技能的空掉，
还有奥利安娜那
奥利安娜的大招，对。之前那
一
波之所以会赢，也是因为奥利安娜那个大招放的有点晚，
他那个大招是用来自保了，并没有去打伤害。
对，这个就是常说的针尖对麦芒，两边队伍全部拿出最顶尖的竞技实力，这样比赛才会好看。
而且刚才这个阵容的话 ，OMG 拿的是一套完美开团的阵容，
对，石头人加发条
根本就守不住。
石头人也是大哥一开始就成名的。
对，最主要是他们拿出这样一个阵容，我们居然还看到了皇族在不停的牵扯，在对方这种阵容优势的时候打赢了一波。
无论是贾克斯前期带线牵扯，还是个人能力以及团队协作能力，确实是很精彩，
打的真的很漂亮。
让我们更期待第5局了。
我真的要让现场所有的观众给两支队伍来鼓掌了。
是的，
现在双方的话已经进行了4场比赛，马上。